too. It's Kirsten O'Brien with you on BBC Newcastle. Bit of a treat for you now. Something we rarely talk about on BBC Newcastle, bare knuckle boxing. I bet you didn't imagine that was going to come out my mouth. And when I say those words, do you think maybe Fight Club? Do you think some sort of underground illegal organisation? Well, you'd be wrong. The sport is actually completely legal. And not only is there an event happening in Gateshead this weekend, but the North East is actually home to two of the world's bare knuckle boxing champions. Head of media for UB Bad, Stu Armstrong from North Shields, is with me now. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting us up.
That's right. Is that what people do tend to think when they think
a lot of people do, not so much now, but there is still a little bit of a stigma about bare knuckle boxing, which is a hard thing for us to try and sort of break, but it is becoming a lot more mainstream now, and people are seeing that a professional boxing show, for instance, where you've got all of the medics and everything's organised, you won't really see any difference, apart from there's no gloves.
So what's the history of it then? Did it sort of get left behind when boxing gloves
came? It did. I mean, bare knuckle boxing was the original form of boxing, especially in England, Ireland and Wales. And then the Marquess of Queensberry rules came in, which recommended boxing gloves. A lot of people think it's was for safety purposes, but it actually wasn't. It was to make bouts a lot more bloodier and more exciting for fans. You'll find that bare knuckle boxing was never made illegal. It fell out of fashion, if you like, when the Queensberry rules came in. But it is actually medically proven to be a lot safer than glove boxing.
Does it hurt more, though? I just think being walloped with a big glove or being walloped in the face with a fist.
Yeah, I think the difference is short term, it may hurt a little bit more. You may suffer, for instance, a broken hand, a broken nose, something like that. But long term, which I think is the most important, the likelihood of any kind of brain damage or pugilistic dementia is greatly reduced for two main reasons. One, if you're hit in the head with a boxing glove, the spread of the glove and the volume of the blow is a lot larger, and it rattles the brain a lot more in the skull.
Oh.
And second of all, quite a hard place on your body is your head, and without boxing gloves, it is easy for a fighter to break the hand. So you'll find that there's a lot less headshots thrown, and the punches are chosen, a lot more wisely to protect the hands, which also in turn sort of protects for long-term damage.
Yeah, there's a lot less surface area to sort of hit out with.
That's it.
Are you going mainly for the head, or are you, how is it I don't even know how it's scored.
Well, rules-wise, it's exactly the same as normal professional boxing, with a couple of main differences. Fighters don't wear boxing gloves, but they wear 4-ounce hand wraps like bandages.
Okay.
To protect the hands, and rather than having a 10 count, which you would have in normal boxing with a standing 8 count, you have a 20 count with a standing 18 count.
Okay, so they've got to lie still for 20 seconds.
Well, if a fighter gets knocked down, they've got up to 18 seconds to be standing up and back on the feet, and then when the count gets to 20, then they're ready to go again. If they're not on the feet within 18 seconds, then that's the fight over. Or if they're not ready to fight in the 20, again, that's the fight over.
You know what, this is sort of playing into the North East hardness, this, isn't it? Why do you think it is such a big thing in the North East?
I don't know. I mean, it's a massive sort of hotbed of talent. Both from Newcastle, we've got the world heavyweight champion, Michael Ferry. And we've also got the world cruiserweight champion, Billy Hawthorne. Sort of in the North East, we've also got the lightweight champion, Kev Bennett, who's from Hartlepool. So 3 of the 5 weights are all really from the North East.
I'm calling that the North East as well, Hartlepool, we're having that.
That's it.
Absolutely, it's a Middlesbrough lad.
Oh, no. Well, I think it's to do with there's quite a long history of sort of industrialised shipbuilding, mining, agriculture maybe, men that had to grow up working very hard, working with the hands. And I think maybe it comes out of that.
And is the sport alive in gyms round here? Where is it happening?
It is. I mean, UB Bad, we have shows all over the country, but we've got we've got fighters from all over the country. We've got, for instance, our middleweight champion Jimmy Sweeney. He's from Sligo in Ireland. We've even got a fighter who's flown over from America, Eric Olsen, who'll be fighting at Gateshead as well.
Wow, how did you get into it in the first place?
Well, I've been a boxing fan for a long time, and I don't even know how. I thought I've had somebody called Joe Brown on Facebook, who was the owner of UB Bad, and we got chatting one day, and he said, "Oh, I'm having a show in Newcastle, would you like to come along?" And I'll never forget going up to that show with a friend of mine, who was an ex-professional boxer, saying, "Come on, let's go and see these idiots." And when I got there, it was nothing like I imagined. I think I had maybe the idea that it would be people fighting in a car park or something. When I got there, it was organised, professional, and it's just so much more exciting than glove boxing. And I became absolutely just addicted to the sport. And then I ended up working for them.
And if you're a fan of boxing with the gloves on, is there much crossover or is there much rivalry? You know, do you guys see yourself as, hang on, we're the real deal, or how is it viewed?
Well, funny enough, the real deal, that's Michael Ferry's fight name. But, I mean, there's a lot. I think now, a lot of people who are professional boxing fans, once they come to a show or they watch some TV coverage of bare knuckle boxing, a lot of them sort of fall out of love a little bit with glove boxing. I think a lot these days, glove boxing, a lot of the sort of the energy and the excitement gone out of the sport. It's a lot more sort of defensive, point scoring, a lot more strategic, like a game of chess, play the long game to win, on a decision and points. Sometimes it can be a little bit boring, not all of them, but I think the old-fashioned rawness and excitement is there with bare knuckle boxing. And what I love is everybody that comes to a show for the first time, they always come back because they love it, but they'll bring somebody else and they'll bring somebody else. And it's absolutely huge now. I mean, we've sold out a venue at Coventry 3 times this year already, with 2,000 people.
Well, it is one of the fastest growing sports in the UK, but France have recently banned mixed martial art fighting, haven't they? What are your thoughts on that?
I think, to be honest, I think it was a bit of an overreaction. I don't think they've particularly investigated all of the safety aspects too far. But, I mean, it is quite a different sport from bare knuckle boxing. With mixed martial arts, for instance, a fighter can be pinned down to the floor and rain blows to the head. When they're actually pinned to the floor, they can be kicked. I don't know that much about it, so I don't really want to sort of say too much, but I know that there is some very good sort of safety measures in there, the same as there is with all professional combat sports.
Okay, well, you do know about the event that's happening tomorrow night. We're going to talk about that next.
No problem.
Ellie Goulding there. This is BBC Newcastle, Kirsten O'Brien, and we're talking bare knuckle boxing. I'm just really enjoying chatting to my guest, who is Stu Armstrong. And there is an event tomorrow night. Tell me about that.
Bare knuckle boxing event, what we call BKB2. That's over at the Lancastrian Suite in Gateshead. Many people know as the Fed Brewery. There are still some tickets left. If anybody would like to come, they can get those on the door.
And are you going to be commentating?
I am. It's going to be, all the footage is going to be recorded. There's myself, Tom Ross from Talksport Radio, and quite exciting, we've got the man Mike Tyson, called the baddest baddest white man on the planet, Big Joe Egan. We're going to be doing the commentary together.
Do you have to try and stay impartial?
I do, yeah, very much so. It's sometimes it is difficult, but to be honest, there's such a great bunch of fighters. I'm friends with the majority of them. I keep getting wrong off the boss for saying, that's a good friend of mine, fighting a good friend of mine, but what can you do?
And if someone had never been before and was maybe thinking they might want to come down, what would you say?
I would say come over, try it, and I promise you, you'll absolutely love it. A lot of people, if they've been to any sort of pro boxing or pro MMA, you'll see that we're as professional as they are. We've got all the same kinds of medical care, the same organisation. For instance, we've got as a guest former world champion from the region in Sky Pundit, Glenn McCrory, coming. So,
is there a trash talking? Do you do a bit of trash talking?
There has been with certain fighters in the past, but one of the things I love, it's one of the most respectful sports I've ever met. for instance, a couple of months ago, local fighter Billy Hawthorne, who won the cruiserweight title, he knocked out a fighter called Craig Amor, and I mean it was a world title. It's huge. He didn't even smile, didn't celebrate, didn't do anything. He went straight over to Craig to make sure that Craig got up and he was okay. There's great sort of respect between the fighters and between the fans as well.
Okay, so where is it tomorrow night?
It's at the Lancastrian Suite in Gateshead, and tickets available on the door.
Stu, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Mid-mornings with Kirsten O'Brien. BBC Newcastle, radio for the North East.